Perhaps he did allow me to kill the Nemean lion, but he made your name known amongst the people. A fierce warrior, a killer made hero, a man made a god. But this time, brother, this time I will destroy you. Call it my 13th and final labor. Soon I will become the god of war and claim the throne for myself.
You aspire to be an Olympian, yet their reign is ended.
We'll see about that.
Okay. I think they're gone.
Just be careful.
Fresh air. Oh, you're different.
You're a cube. Talking. You know what? It doesn't matter. How do we get out of here?
Yeah, we've tried. There's no way out.
And you're a talking sword.
I'm not the sword. I'm the ribbons, obviously. And my name is Rue. The cube is Frank.
I'm Faye. There has to be a way out of here.
At this year's State of Play, there was a trailer and gameplay of the new God of War Laufey. And if you've been anywhere on the internet for the last week, you can see that this game is ripping the fan base apart. You have half of them saying, if I pay for a God of War game, I want to play as Kratos, killing new gods with new weapons. And you have the other half saying, if you don't like it, you hate women and you're an incel. As for me, I fall in the camp of players who want to play God of War as the God of War. And I know that that opinion is going to lose some of the 54 followers I have. But to anyone who stays after watching this video, thank you for being one of my day ones. And I know from now on that we can disagree and still be cool. In my opinion, I really think that this is going to hurt PlayStation and may even kill Sony Santa Monica. We all know that Sony has a bad habit of shutting down game studios right after a game flops to recoup the money, with the most recent being Bluepoint. On screen now is a list of game studios that they've shut down starting all the way back in 2009 with Incognito Entertainment. Look, I'm not some grifter just looking at this for clout. I've played every God of War except for Sons of Sparta. What, you may ask? If I'm some born-again bigot, shout out to Papa Gundam, that hates women, why haven't I played this one? It's because I don't want to play as Kid Kratos, just as much as I don't want to play as Faye. Let's be real, the only reason why this game is called God of War anything is to bank off of the name that Kratos built on the back of each and every god he left dead in his wake. But in all honesty, we shouldn't be surprised because Sony has a habit of doing this, changing their male characters for all their fantastic male-oriented games to female characters. First started with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, then Last of Us 2, next was Ghost of Tsushima, and now it's Kratos' turn. And oh, let's not forget about The Witcher 4, which looks like it'll be coming out in late 2027. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. You gamers are only mad because it's a woman. And that's not true. We've been playing female games since Tomb Raider, Metroid Prime, Alien Isolation, Resident Evil 3, and Bayonetta. Don't forget Portal and Darksiders 3, and many others. It's not because it's a woman. It's because you're using Kratos' name to try to build a new franchise that isn't what gamers want. We want God of War and we want Kratos to kill new gods in the most gruesomest way possible. We don't want to play as Faye with a sword with a ribbon attached to it that talks, or being followed by some Disney cube that's played by some actor that was in The Boys. That's not what any of us want. Hell, we barely wanted Atreus, but it was a new God of War entry where we were playing as Kratos. Once we understood that, we were fine. But until you understand that these games are the male power fantasy, just like Barbie is the female power fantasy, you're going to lose all of your fan base. This is a message to everyone, not just Sony. This goes for Marvel, this goes for Disney, this goes for Star Wars. You need to stop pushing away the fans that built these billion-dollar franchises for the quote-unquote new audience or the modern audience. It doesn't exist. They don't buy games, they don't pay for movies, they don't even have a PlayStation. They don't even know that the cost of a PlayStation has been risen. It's apparent that you don't want us anymore. And that's why these games are coming out. But guess what? There are so many games in our backlog that we don't even have to worry about this. Hell, I'll go back and start playing the original God of War because that's how good it is. Unfortunately, you'll get the people who will say, I'm going to own the chuds and I'm going to buy this, but you won't find this imaginary modern audience that you want. Sony, you have abandoned us, and it's sad to say that we're now abandoning you. Even the creator of God of War, David Jaffe, knows that this is a horrible decision. He may have been wrong about God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. I'll be the first one to say that. But with this one, he's correct. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. And trust me, there are many things that I disagree with this man about. But this one isn't one of them. He knows that this game is going to be a failure. Just watch what he says here.
The fuck was that? Laufey? What the fuck is Laufey? I thought her name was Fea or something. That looks like shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. That reminds me of that game Forspoken a little bit. I'll tell you what, let me wait for this to end. So uninspired, and it looks so dull. And you guys have to remember that is the opening of the game, probably, because it says X for new game. It's possible there's a prelude, but that seems clearly towards the opening. It's dead. That game is not going to do well for what they expect it to do. Now, again, that may be a cheap game. They may be like, oh yeah, well, this is not one of those $400 million gambles. This is like 80 million, and you know, I have no clue. But that game, I want you to think about this for a minute. God of War, the originals, they had their hooks, right? It was Kratos as a badass and Greek mythology, violence, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
And then when it fails, like always, the audience is going to be blamed because it was the men who didn't want to play as a woman that made God of War fail. We're going to get blamed just like we were blamed for the Eternals, just like we were blamed for Ghostbusters, and just like we were blamed for the Marvels. You could have named this game anything. You could have named this game Tales of Fae. You could have just named it Fae. There are a number of things you could have named it. But you named it God of War and played in our faces just to attract our dollars, and we say no. And just like clockwork, we have the usual suspects coming out and saying the exact same thing.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
And unfortunately, things have become so toxic in the fan base over this one game, you can't get away from it. Up and down my timeline, all I see are shorts saying, if you don't like it, you're an incel, you don't know how to talk to women, you don't like women, blah, blah, fucking blah. Look at this, a short that says, if you don't want to play as Faye, you're a homosexual.
Hey dude, oh, is that the new God of War?
Yeah, this looks awesome. I'm really excited to play as Faye.
Whoa. Play as a woman in God of War? Nah, I'm good. I want to play as Kratos.
Bro, what? Faye is his wife. She's literally central to the whole story in God of War 2018 and Ragnarok.
Don't care. Playing as a chick just sounds gay, bro. Kratos is a real man. That bald head, those arms, the way he just snaps and goes feral.
Okay.
The rage, the brutality, oh god. I get worked up every time he roars. I just want him to grab me by the throat and
alright.
Split me in half with a Leviathan axe and make me call him Ghost of Sparta while he—
Whoa! Dude, chill. No, you don't understand. I need him in every God of War game. I need to be Kratos.
And next we have one that says, if you don't want to play as Faye, you don't know how to talk to women.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and let's not forget the stereotypical black guy with a baseball cap on backwards and dress that says, if you don't want to play as Faye, you're a bum.
And if it was up to them, we would have never even got God of War Ragnarok. Because the same bums that are hating on God of War Laufey and saying things like, oh, if I'm buying a game called God of War, I obviously want to play as Kratos. I want to play God of War, not God of Laundry. Don't even care about good lore or good story. They just want to play the same game over and over again. And how many times can you tell the same story about a man who's enraged crashing out? Man, we got to talk about this. Shizzle Max Shinobi, let's get active.
Man, don't you guys see that with the coming of AI, people will be able to make AAA games on an indie budget and you'll price yourself out of the market? First, you want us to pay $100 for a base copy of GTA 6. No one's gonna pay that if these games have horrible stories that are filled with Western messaging BS. This is why Japan and Korea are doing so much better than the American gaming industry, because you spend too much time trying to preach to us about why we're bad and horrible people and why we need to change, instead of telling us a good story that'll help us escape the BS of modern life. Sony, you really need to wise up and get your shit together, because if you don't, you're gonna go the way of the Dreamcast, which was good at one point and now it's just gone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy what you heard, thanks for watching anyway. Bye for now. See you next time.